Assalamu alaikum, people. You're tuning into the Let's Walk podcast. I am your host, Atta. Today, I'm joined by Sumit Saxena. He's a born entrepreneur, I would say. He has been in the entrepreneur or the entrepreneurship field for about a decade, and he'll be sharing his journey. So, Sumit, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Atam.
So, Sumit, I want you to start off with maybe your childhood, maybe through high school or grade 11th or 12th. Like, were you already like, no, like, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, that kind of thing? Or were you like, no, let me do engineering? Or like, how did you go about it?
So during my childhood, I think I started from very middle class family. My mother and my father both were working profile. So I used to get a lot of time in house for myself because by 12 noon my schools are over. And after 12, I think instead of just playing something, probably I used to do some small activities, selling some items. So I used to buy sometimes some candies and used to sell them, just buy for 2 rupees and selling them 2.5 rupees and earning 30 paisa. Right. During basically, we talk about during uh, Diwali festivals or during Holi festival, I used to sell colors, used to sell patakes, so all those things I used to do it and during my childhood, and I used to earn. I used to very happy that I'm earning some amount. Entrepreneur journey, I didn't know what is entrepreneur at that time because I was growing into 2 or 3 cities. But yes, I had a feeling that probably I want to do something my own. That's the reason when I shifted from the school to college, that was a huge shift. Because during schooling was in tier three cities. I moved from tier three cities to Bangalore, and that's again a story. How do I move from tier three cities to Bangalore? So I had a interview scheduled for my master's degree in Bangalore, and you'll be surprised. I just went 2 days back to railway station to buy a ticket, and this ticket is full. You don't have reservation, right? So I had a 36-hour journey in general class from Gwalior to Bangalore, and in only 186 rupees. You can imagine it, right? That's how I moved from tier two cities to tier one city.
Wow. Also, like, did you like do your engineering after doing your grade 12? Like, how did you go about it?
So engineering was actually it was quite surprised because when I was doing my computer applications, my bachelor degree from my hometown only, so I didn't went somewhere else. That was the first batch, and you'll be surprised. In my first batch, we are only 10 students because that was pretty small school, college, and you'll be surprised. In second semester, there were only 3 students that was able to cover up because there was no books available, there was no infrastructure available, and you'll be surprised. Entire, I think, in my batch, only I have a computer and internet access, and that internet used to work. You'll be surprised on dial tone, dial.
Ah,
So I used to get 10 kb, 20 kb speeds. That's how I started searching, and actually I had a passion about internet. That's the reason I've chosen to BCA, and you'll be surprised. We did a lot of naughty activity as well, like making a school website first time 2002, making the result online in 2003. So those small activity which you've done, we have actually make one uh, hotel management system as well, so they can pin the bills. So those small things which we have done during our bachelor degree. So that was fun, not for money, but just to learn or basically just to adopt because that time there was no technology, and that's how we are able to cope up with bachelor degree. Yeah.
So like like you talked about the dial-up thing. I've never seen that. I've grown up in the telephone generation. I've seen the telephone, and I've seen the Nokia 10th they say, right? And actually, it is my father's generation. They talk about how they used to have the dial-up and whatnot. The internet speed used to be so slow, and like you mentioned, the small experiments or the small challenges you took up, so that let's build a website for this thing, so that we make the process more easier. And I think that is what is what has translated today into what School Novate is. And before we dive deep, I still want to continue in this aspect of your journey, where so you started making websites for schools and like displaying results online. And then, like, how did you get into the travel tech or the hotel management kind of scene?
So when I was in Bangalore, I was planning to basically do a master's in basically sales or basically in operations related to travel tech field only. I did my first research. You'll be surprised. I was traveling the BMC bus, and for to choose the stream, which stream I should go. And that the Times of India has a headline in Bangalore, "Hame mat maro, hum engineer hain." And I was one of the engineers. I felt this is something which is pretty wrong. So I directly went to the internet cafe because in Bangalore I didn't have a laptop or computer. I went to internet cafe and start searching on my first research. That was my first research which I did. And you surprised in 2004, I could gauge that out of one job there was 6 to 7 engineers. Out of one job there was almost 10 MBA graduate. Those are looking for marketing jobs. So I thought I will not do system, I will not do marketing, I will do something different. And when I tried to search all Steam, I also figured out the travel and tourism industry where 80% illiterate people are there. So there is 10 jobs and there are only 2 guys are available. So I thought this is a great opportunity to grab it. So without looking at any research or something like that, after that I just went up and just selected. And the guy who was actually offering the stream, he said, "Are you sure you want to go to travel industry? Because we have 60 seats and I'm sure till now only 15 have selected this." I said, I would like to go ahead, and you will surprise in my batch. We have only 22 guys, and all of them got placed before third semester.
Wow.
So that's how actually I moved from tech to travel, and that actually helped me out. So when I was looking for my first job, that was the era when the online travel industry was actually booming or starting in India or taking the journey, right? So my first job, how do I get into Travel Guru? Travel Guru was first Indian OTA. Make My Trip had born in 2000, but they were focusing on US customer. They were not Indian OTA. They were US focusing on US customer to bring them in India. They and Travel Guru started first journey in India where they were actually focusing on Indian customers and Indian client only, the Indian company. So I was the first person, and one of my senior actually suggested my name that this guy come from travel industry and he also have a tech knowledge. So why don't you bring him on board? That's how I actually started working in Travel Group before even it started operating. So before I was in the pre-launch session with the Travel Group, and I started working in the operations. So I actually spent my life into operations with Travel Guru and Yatra. There are two big companies, but actually I have learned about how to actually make processes, how to sell the travel products, how to make them visible, how the visibility, what is visibility all about. And after that, when I joined one small startup, again my third startup, that was again a startup. We were focusing on generating leads through Google for a smaller town. So you'll surprise in 2006, we were selling cities like Guruvayur, Mantralayam. You talk about Lonavala. Nobody was selling it. So we were selling in a small company these small cities, and we were generating good revenue. You'll surprise, we used to make 50% revenue share, profit share. That used to be used.
Wow. Oh, that's like you do a lot of things, it's like you take a little, you get an opportunity here, you see that, you capitalize on that, and then you see another opportunity, you use the same skill sets and then you use it over there. It's really like unique, like when people I see nowadays, like people who I know who have done engineering, they'll be like, oh fine, let me apply to all the companies in this area, let me apply to XYZ, Accenture, this and that, and then they don't get any job, or they'll be like, doing the same process again and again, where you said, okay, let's not do the rat race, let me go somewhere else where I find the opportunity, and you just capitalize and took advantage of that. That's so nice, like taking risk. Like, where do you get this from, like, taking risk?
It's just all about R&D. Basically, we talk about if you join a startup, you actually have a lot of things to play. So let's say, for example, you join a company which has only 2,000 player already team members. So everybody has their own task fix. So it's like a labor class. So I just want to give you example. I typically take 3 examples: US, China, and India. Let's talk about. So you see, now the maximum startup started in China and US. They are currently global. So they have a global means they have a global presence and they have a global customers. Google, Facebook, you talk about Alibaba. So these all companies are global, right? They produce global, and they also sell it global. But when we talk about India, India is nowhere into the picture because we don't inculcate that into our students' brain from day one. What we inculcate, hey, tumko job karni hai, you have to do a job, right? So the day you go to school, you know in your brain that I need to become a employer somewhere, right? Employee somewhere. We don't actually say, hey, you need to become a Tata, you need to become money. Nobody says to the child. So I think we need to start from the journey from schooling. The day when you send somebody to school, say them, hey, you don't worry about the job, worry about becoming Ambani or Adani next day. Right. So this is what happening in China and US. Again, the different example we talk about, China is more about labor class entrepreneurs. So we talk about they don't focus on much on learning. कि आपको you have to learn English, you have to learn French, you have to learn this, you have to learn this. They say, hey, you have to know how to make cheap products. So they are actually creating a lot of labor because they have a lot of population. What US is trying to do, US actually critical thinking. So if you go to their school, if you go to their college, there are 30%. The curriculum is designed in such a way that people actually think about critical thinking. We don't do this. So education system is I think somewhere we need to start from schooling itself. They will inculcate that you don't need to become an employee, you need to become an employer. Secondly, basically you need to start thinking critically. So those things, if we start doing in India, you will see that Indian startup journey will improve. And compare, if you talk about in US, there are 100 startup in a month, in a day. India is only one. So we are 1% of, not even 1%, I would say, in terms of number of startups started in India compared to US every year, right? So this number is currently growing it, but I think we need to grow much faster the day we started including this knowledge into our schooling system or college system.
Yeah. I think I forgot to mention in the introduction that, so people who might be listening or watching, Sumit is a co-founder of School Novate. So that's a platform where, it brings teachers, students, parents all together on one platform. So it gives me chills because, like my parents will be knowing like if I miss a class or something like that. But other than that, I want to like dive into this, like how, like, did you start it before the pandemic or did you start it like in the pandemic? How did you, like, how did it come into existence?
So Exclunovate was in my brain. I think I was thinking about this project from last couple of years. But you know that being into the travel industry, I didn't want to switch from one industry to another industry. But pandemic has given me a very social reason to do that. So last year in March, I actually relocated back to my hometown, and with my family, I can see from April onwards, new session started, especially in Indian schools. So my kids are able to do online classes because they were actually studying in one of the primary school in Bhopal. Whereas my other, I could say the nearby areas, or I can see my mates, my servants, their kids are not able to start study. So I just asked them why. They say, sir, there's no online classes, nothing is happening. It we don't know. So I started doing research about it. And you surprised, my research end up into the good numbers. The first research says that 97% schools in India are operating in old eras. So if I talk about today, I think as you said, the dial-up network, right? We talk about banking sectors. Our banking sector and this sector is actually almost same because it's require a user, it's require a bank, it require government policies also. Last year, government have announced new education policy. You know that 2020, right? And that actually bring me a step ahead. That obviously I need to start something. Otherwise, we lose out because when I went ahead and asked teachers or schools or school principals, school owners, they say you don't know what new education policy. They see they have been implemented. We don't know about it, but this policy is supposed to be implemented 2022 onwards. Okay. So the biggest fear here is that 97% schools in India, they are still operating without digital technology before pandemic. After pandemic, there are 22% schools have moved from offline to online, but again online classes, but there's no technical interface. So I relate this with banking sector. So how our banking sector used to be before 98, it used to be completely bank driven, which means if you have to open account to withdraw money, you have to go to bank. Between 98 to 2000, two initiatives have been taken. One is ATM introduced in Indian market, and second is NEFT. Now, you'll be surprised, NEFT and ATM. ATM is still okay because you need to withdraw the money. But if you talk about NEFT, it was only available for the people those have a laptop or computer to do that. And it's still a bank driven. Bank driven means if you forget the password, you have to ask bank to issue a new password to you. And today, if you talk about education industry in India, is only it's on the same side. Why? All the parents are dependent on school. So if the school, some school has app also, they are mainly focusing on issuing the circulars or asking them to collect the fees. That's it. Right. So this again, even if you forget the password, you have to ask school, please help me with the password. And if you change from A city to B city, which happened roughly in India, a lot of time, you actually have to forget about your data because school owns your data. Right. So you lost everything. So I thought this is somewhere we can come up and we can look at the solution. And how the banking sector came into my mind. During the pandemic, I was traveling from one city to another city. The complete road was closed. Nobody was there. And I can saw there was some road construction was happening it. And when in one pawn shop, in small pawn shop, there was a guy who was paying through UPI, 5 rupees for his bidi. He was 5 rupees using UPI. Then I realized there's already infrastructure available, which means India has the cheapest internet in the world. You pay 300, 400 rupees, you get 80 days internet. India has 80% household have mobile phones, smartphone in their hand, right? So I mean, they have a hardware, they have a technology to connect. So how we can do that? So we actually made School Innovate. School Innovate actually a single platform which works only on app. So it's connect teacher, parents, and students on the same network. And it's not about only complaining; it's also sharing about the data. So what happened? For example, what happened in the class? Parent doesn't know. So if I ask your parents, hey, can you tell me how many teachers are teaching you? They don't know the name, right? App will tell them, okay, X person is teaching Y subject to him. Secondly, it's about what's happening in the class. You don't know because you can't revise. You need to depend on the diary. वो भी आपका बच्चा if it give it to you. Otherwise, you forget about those things, right? So we are removing those diaries and probably giving this to parents that every day they can check what's happening in the class. Is this class conducted or not? How your kids was behaving in the school on app itself, and then probably parents can take in important part into education journey. So if they have 1 hour or 30 minutes, they can actually teach the students at home. Because a student cannot only be dependent on teachers only. There should be a 360 role of parents. There should be a role of schools. There should be a role of technology. So I thought, being into tech side, I should help socially this economy and probably help schools to have this technology at a very low cost. You'd be surprised when I went in January, February to almost 100 schools. 80 schools has ERP system, which they bought it. You'll be surprised out of which 5 are using it. Why? Because they were actually require a lot of human resource. Like bank sector, bank have a lot of people to update the data. Small schools doesn't have a human resources to manage that. Our app actually works independent app for users like parents, teacher, and school. They update their own data, which the way you do in Paytm or you do in another app, which takes 5 minutes, and your data is synced with the school as soon as the UPI connects them. So school doesn't have to manage the entire data of 2,000 students. It's automatically done by the users. It's a multilingual, so parents don't feel any difficulty to actually add the data. Right. And second research which we did, actually, we have to figure out that our industry is quite biased. Bias means all the edtech companies which is currently in India, they have valuation from $10 billion to $20 billion. They are focusing on higher class students, which can then pay them from 20,000 to 60,000 rupees annually. Average household income in India, 80% are less than 10,000 rupees a month. They can't afford to pay 20,000 to 2,000, 3,000 rupees a month for that. So our solution comes at a very cheap price. For roughly around, if you say this pandemic, we are giving them a free of cost, but it comes to the average of 2 rupees a day. That's it. This is less than a bread cost. And you can manage multiple child in one app. So this is again one more feature. Additional feature like you are having for example, a sports day in your college or school, and you surprise there is a paper certificate has been given. What we do actually, as soon as your race is over, sports teacher issue the certificate. Before you reach your home, your certificate reaches to your parents.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice. Like the features you mentioned. Like the school does not need to haggle parents. Like pay the fees before this date or that date. And like parents are like this point. Like I really love this. That parents are taking an active role in their wards education. Instead of taking the back seat and when they go to parent teacher meeting and then the parents, they don't even know the section of the kids. They're like, yeah, papa, which class is like 8B or A, that kind of thing. So I really love that. Also the diary and attendance is being monitored and whatnot. If they miss classes, again they'll be updated. That's really nice. So my question is why are people people are supporting it, but like you mentioned, 80 people supported and 5 people actually started implementing. Is it because when you'll actually start to use the app, a lot of people will be.
Let me correct. This is not our app. This is about other product which is already in the market.
Okay,
so there are close to 1,000 other companies. Those are offering those products. but the product requires a lot of human resources to update the data. Our product differentiate in this way that we don't need to update the data. It's auto
Okay.
updated. So that's the reason 80 schools, out of 80 schools, only 5 are using it, because they require additional resources to manage this. So a school can't fund that. A school, first of all, buy the product, then they need resources to manage that. So obviously, talk about on an average, school spend 2 lakh rupees if they want to manage that. With our feature, they have to pay 0 rupees. It's completely free for schools.
Wow. So it's sort of like, you know, are you aware of SAS, like software
SaaS
as yeah, SaaS. So I really like that, you know, like you know, the institutions, they don't have to, you know, like have the headache of, you know, like we need 10 people to manage this or that. I want to know, like, is it open for universities also? Because you see, schools are schools, you know, like, but universities are like a big organization, you know, like they have engineering faculty, you know, the business faculty and whatnot. Like, is it open for
So
that?
actually, we actually capture this into 3 ways. First is school. Second is private institutes. So a lot of private institute which runs actually, and they actually help. And there are also a lot of social activity happen. There are a lot of entrepreneur which actually goes and teach the students from home, right, for free of cost. We are giving them a free of cost, so they can use it. They can pay it. They can actually use it for their technology. Third is universities. I would say we are completely ready for university. The only thing we need to see the ecosystem, how they work. So technology is almost going to be same. The only thing the subject is going to be changed, right? University has a different level of subjects, different level. So there's some level of additional effort required from our end to do it. We'll be ready, I think, by 2022 first session for university as well.
Also, like, do you have to change the name from School Novate to Uni Novate or something?
So we have a College Novate already name listed with us, College Novate. But we'll see. The School Novate also fits it. We'll see. We haven't not thought about it. The current focus basically to offer this to schools in India and institute which are offering social services.
So, like, is the app having like suppose if a student is having classes, so like, is the app itself providing like the classes through Zoom, or like is it through the app only?
So within our app only. So within our app ecosystem, school can do it. But you'll be surprised, that's not something which is primarily being asked by affordable schools. Because if you talk about small schools, the parents are basically a daily worker. They go and they work. They must be having one phone at a family of 6, right? So online, so what we do actually provide them a content. So once the parent is back to home, child can take their phone and actually use the phone for half an hour to complete the task, complete the test, complete the content using the chat itself, and submit the data back to the teachers. But yes, online classes is also there. But I think this is only being used by the higher students or higher schools where the school standard is, let's say, for example, the CBSE good schools. We talk about IB schools. We talk about ICSE school. But when we talk about the board schools, the state board schools, this is 99% schools have rejected the online concept. Because if you talk about they're teaching only 2 or 10 students out of 100, that doesn't make a difference. So what we do, we record the session on YouTube, and we supply that the channel, the recorded sessions to the students, so they can refer, and probably if they have any question, there is a chat feature available, so they can chat to the teacher online. Wow. And the data is with them.
So it's stored in the cloud?
It's stored in the cloud.
Yeah. So yes. One more thing that I was curious about is like, you know, with the Zoom, you know, like still there are a lot of schools which have not purchased the Zoom, like the pro Zoom, and they have been operating on the 40-minute sessions. And when the teacher, you know, starts explaining something and cut, it's gone. Like, does it happen in like your app, or like it's like, you know, flexible, you know, depending on like if the teacher wants to extend 10 minutes if somebody's having a doubt or something? Because a lot of students are facing that issue, you know.
We don't have a time limit. We have a user limit. So we wanted to keep it more interactive. So we kept the user limit to 40. So only 40 attendee can attend, because you can't have 100 attendees you're teaching. A lot of schools are doing, they're actually clubbing all the classes, all the sections, just doing one class, which doesn't serve the purpose. We actually conduct all the classes. So school teacher have a whiteboard on the mobile phone itself. Teacher have all the interactive session on the app itself. And whenever somebody want to connect, they can actually chat and they can ask. There's a live poll, live exam, teacher can take it on our app. And once the class is over, their entire content becomes a video class, which they can refer later on. And also the PDF, it generates the PDF for all the board words and we share with the students.
Wow, that's nice. You know, like do you ever get like some people asking like, Sumit, why are you doing this like a lot for the community? Like, what are you getting? That kind of thing.
So I think this is never ever came to our mind, because if you look at all the big the startups, those are globally are working, right? They never started as I'm going to earn the money. Have you ever thought of how, if you make the Facebook, how are you going to earn it? If you make the Google, how are you going to earn it? Right? It's going to it's going to evolve. So what we thought of how to keep our cost low, and how to keep our product cost also low for the customers as well. So we are a very thin company. We are just operating with the 12 guys. You'll be surprised, only 12 team members. All are working remotely, and starting from an experience of 6 months to overall experience of 20 years. So that's how the team size is. From youngest team member is only 19-year-old, and the oldest is 47-year-old. So that's how the team currently working. And you will surprise. I think this is a number game. So the day we have more schools, the day we have more, I think the product will become more cheaper. We'll get more opportunity to help the society, and same time we'll also make the money as well.
Wow, that's nice. You know, like I see a lot of entrepreneurs when I talk to them. You know, they say like similar thing. You know, like they're there to make the impact, and the money will eventually come. Like Amazon didn't become Amazon in like 1 year. It took 26 years, right? And I want to know, like, how is the team working? Like you said, it's working remotely, and you know, like do you have like over like a weekly Zoom call or something? Like, how do you manage everything with your family, and then you know?
So what we actually made, typically there are three departments: marketing and sales, operations, and technology. So everybody, there are the team leaders; those are actually handling that. So we don't actually interact with the team. We interact with the entire team once in a month. You just see that we are actually together. And every week, every Friday, we have a team meeting call. So we three actually connect, and we also connect with other advisors as well on Friday. And we try to see what happened last week, what we're gonna shape next week, and if we are under the progress or not. So that's how we do it. And every team leader is independent enough to do their own job, and I basically guide the team.
Okay, so like, is your company now, like, is your startup now like open to like investing opportunity? Like, if somebody wants to invest in School Novate or something, like, are you open to that?
So we actually participated in college in 2021. That actually basically called the Kumbh of IT in Canada, and we surprisingly received a few inquiries from investors in US. Presently, but we are not US listed company, so we are also looking at how we can list in US. That's something which is currently going on. Secondly, if when you talk about investors, yes, we are looking for investment. We are having some small dialogues with some investors in India as well. Hopefully, by next 3-4 months, we will be able to close a very good deal.
Okay, that's good news. You know, because you know, in these times, people are looking to invest. That means it's like you guys are doing something great. You know, and uh, like, are you planning to expand? Like you said, it's an app, anybody can download it, and you know, are you planning to spread this message into other states? You said you were working in Rajasthan, West Bengal, Kolkata. Like, I want it in the south. You know, like how are you planning to do something like that?
So we are almost on closing a South guy. We have a Bangalore team member, but we are not yet live. So there's a guy who will be joining us very soon from Bangalore, and he will be operating Bangalore, Karnataka, and Kerala. Probably will be hiring more team members in South Zone as well. That's one of the prime area for us. Let me verify. But we are more currently engaged in northern and central part of India.
Wow, that's good to hear. Now I guess I'll have my, you know, like siblings. You know, they'll be all operating on School Novate now, hopefully,
Yeah.
within like, I don't know, so some like months.
It's free. It's free. School doesn't have to worry about it. They just come to us, just do free registration and start using our app without paying any single rupee.
So is there a way like students can recommend, you know, like their schools to, you know, like maybe, you know, it's probably better to shift on School Novate or something? Like, is it possible?
Yes, it's very much possible. So either they can share the contact details of their school management or principals. We will connect them, or if they want, they can directly send a link. Or we are open. It's self mode. We can just share a link of School Innovate, or if they need a special link for you, probably I can provide a special free version of referral link to them, which completely works for them.
Yeah, we can do that. I'll put it down in the description. So anybody listening, if you're in school or like up till 12th grade, right? It's up till 12th grade.
Up to 12, K12.
Yeah, so anybody who's like in 12th, 9th, 8th, 7th, take that link and, send it to your school, because you deserve to, like have better, like time for studying, you don't need to, be like 40-minute Zoom call and then, it's gone. And like random hours, having random classes, that's not good. So my question for you, Sumit, now is like, where do you see yourself like with the company and everything 5-10 years down the line?
So I'm not a guy who actually thinks what's gonna happen 5 years, 3 years. Currently, if I talk about next 1 year, I wanted to see if we can have close to 1 million students on a network. By next year, we should have 1 million students on network. That means close to 10,000 teachers on a network, and we want to see how the numbers are happening, and we want to see what is the performance students have improved. So roughly, I'll give you example. When we did a pilot, we were able to figure out there are massive improvement in paper buying, stationery buying for schools. So they save close to 20% to 25% of their paper cost. Average students, if they on our panel, every year they see a CAGR, compound growth in their learning from 4 to 5%. Right. And when we talk about teacher will be able to save 15 to 20% of their time. And one surprise element for you, we are also giving free teaching classes to teachers using the world's best trainers. So we got a trainers from Canada and UK. Those actually come from IB background. They come from international background, and they actually developed our TLP program. We call it Teacher Learning Program, and we provide 5 skills training to the teachers so that they develop their skills. Along with that, we also provide them how to make videos, right? How to edit the videos, how to create interactive content. So in affordable schools also, a student doesn't have to think about that I need to buy 20,000, 30,000 rupees, those learning management package, because they are only one centric. Whereas if you can create personalized content in your own language, because teacher knows what all my students are, how do they going to learn it, right? So they can make personalized content for their children. So that's a surprise agreement, which is again a free of cost for teachers in India.
Wow, that's really nice, because like not all students understand English, and when they have that personal touch, with them in their own like mother tongue, be it's Hindi, Urdu, whatever it's Telugu, Marathi, that students will be able to relate more. And let me backtrack a little bit into your entrepreneur journey. I want to know, like, now you have kids and everything, like what can parents do, and what can parents, teachers, and like schools do to build that entrepreneur inside the students and their wards?
I think I've already explained this before as well. What you need to do, first of all, don't force your kids to say, I need 90%, 95% marks. Don't compare your child with other child, because all fingers are not same, right? Don't. And try to see how critical they think. So help them in their journey. They might stuck somewhere. They ask you some stupid question. Like my 5-year-old daughter sometimes asks me, what's happening this, Papa? Why this is like this? So don't give them an answer that they don't understand. Try to explain them in their tone. Think. Always talk about, whenever you go into it, even this applies to everybody. I think know your audience is something very, very important. So who's your audience? So when your kid, when they are 5 or 6-year-old, they are more curious about the thing. This is the best time, because that's time the brain is developing. You actually inculcate that, okay, this is something which is good. If they're asking, give them a proper reply in their way. Maybe you need to round robin and probably see something different way to give them examples. Secondly, when the child is growing it, be their friends, right? Be their friends, understand if they have any problem, understand if they are coming with something, like probably help them. And always don't force them for numbers. Don't tell them that you want to have a job. Let them what they want to do it, and see what they're doing best. If they're doing something best, they don't know. but you can actually, as a parent, you can understand, okay, mera bacha, he's very good painter, he's very good dancer, he's very good techie guy. Like my daughter is very good coder. She's coding from 8th standard onwards, right? She just made a good a dynamic website for her school project, and I like it. I said, you want to become a coder? I will help you out to become a coder. Don't worry. So inculcate that into your child brain that you are free. What do you want to do? I am here to support you, and don't worry about the job. Don't worry about the money.
Wow.
The day you start becoming like your friend to your child, I think entire the scenario or ecosystem in India is going to change.
That's some solid advice, because I want people to pursue their dream, people to,
Yes.
keep taking action. At least, try, like, okay, fine. If it doesn't work, also, like you mentioned, you started off making websites for schools, displaying results online, and that sparked your interest into tech, like travel tech and now edutech. So this brings me to the question that, we have Byju's, we have Vedantu, we have like this huge, like huge giants in Indian education system. And we also have Khan Academy and whatnot. So like, do you feel like there's some sort of competition, or like people might say like but there's an entirely different platform, right? Because this is for managing schools and whatnot. So do you ever plan on like integrating their syllabuses or integrating their like video lessons in like your app, so that like instead of teachers trying to record and whatnot, they can have a better.
Very interesting. I think very intelligent question. When I talk about this came to a lot of my team member also. But understand what is your audience. Our audience are affordable schools. We are not here to make the money. These all companies which you are naming it, they are all here to make the money. That's why the investor actually pumping the money, right? So they are here to make the money, and they have their own client set. They have a 3% to 5% children in India which have money to pay, right? Average Indian, if you talk about 80%, I would say Indians cannot afford those schools or these technologies, right? Because they are too costly. That's the reason we are actually shifting that focus from a single content. So if these companies make a video, that same video is available for all the students, whether it's in Punjab or whether it's in Kerala or West Bengal or Gujarat, right? But every human is not same. So there is personalized content, personalized learning is important. We wanted to inculcate personalized learning. That's why we are helping teachers to become trainer, become content maker, so they can make personalized content for their students at free of cost. Do you think parents have to pay school fees? Then these companies are also saying, come online and have classes also online and buy our content. And after that, once you go to college, also buy our certificates from those companies. Some companies they are selling certificates, and then you look for a job. We are not here to make the job, right? We are not here to people to do the job. We are here to make entrepreneurs. How we can make entrepreneurs? Number one, basically start giving them affordable solutions to schools so they can offer quality education. Improve teaching quality in India so the teacher can properly teach the students, and also help teachers to prepare local personalized content for the students. And once this is done, obviously once school bacha would get out from 12th to go to school college, you will be surprised that kid is going to be totally different. You won't see the kids. He will be totally apart from other students. And one of the biggest, I would say, the drawback of those companies, let's say, for example, there's a class of 30 students. 5 students are attending those classes online. They are learning the technology, and teacher is teaching in the classroom that this is, for example, Pythagorean theorem, and teacher has a whiteboard or maybe an electronic board, and somebody say, no ma'am, yesterday I've seen on X company that this is how this works. The less 25 students are just looking at that guy and thinking about, I need to buy that, right? So you're actually buying behavior is going to change, and parents cannot afford it. Learning, right? So we want to make sure that affordable tools available, and this kind of environment will not come in a picture, so there is no biasness. Every kid is important. If you have money, then only you're important. No, you are in India and you have a school. Those can actually help you out to become a good human being or become a good resources for a country. We don't want to create laborers like China. No, we want to create entrepreneurs like US. And you surprise these big companies. If you look at the big joints like Satyam Nadella, you talk about uh, um, Sundar Pichai, they all are CEO in those big company in US, right? But they grown up from very small schools. They didn't come from the biggest schools. They come from very, very small schools. But how they did actually, they understood during the school life itself that there's something which I need to change. So school is, I think, a big base where we are missing it. And if we left out the 95% students in India, those don't have money to pay, I don't think so we will be able to make good ecosystem for startups in India.
So there's this question I was thinking about that like have you tried like approaching the states, like a specific state to imply this in their government schools? Because see, not a lot of people will go to private schools, especially with the pandemic and everything. People will be like, it's better we might go to government schools or public school, whatever it is. So like, have you tried implementing or approaching the authorities?
So India has 1.5 million schools total, and out of which 60% owned by the public sector, governments, central government, local government, state governments, right? And we are happily, I will say that last year we actually approached 6 state governments, and everybody was super happy to see our products, our vision. But the only thing that we are not big, as per the government terms and condition in India, right? You have to be 3-year-old company. So this is something we are just not even a year-old company now. So we are just waiting for the right time. I think once we are 2-year or 3-year-old company, we'll reapproach them, and I'm sure we're gonna work with government schools as well. Also, the system is going to be a little bit different government schools. Reason being because we need to create a little bit infrastructure. Like government schools doesn't have a Wi-Fi network, they don't have a smart board. So what we go step by step. There are government school which has modern schools, like Madhya Pradesh government, Karnataka government has some smart modern schools. So we'll start first implementing those schools, and once this gets succeed, probably we'll implement to other schools as well. The best part is that all remote schools, like in villages, they can also be part of the active learning program with our tool.
That's the thing about your platform. What I like is that instead of going through a generic thing, like 1 2 3 4, okay, this is for everybody. Now you go like, okay, what do you need? Okay, your step one is not working. Okay, fine, you take this thing. Like instead of like you have this ready-made clothes, right? It's like that with the big companies. Everybody gets to wear the same thing. But what you're doing is you are getting tailor-made. Okay, this side doesn't fit you. Okay, we'll make a small one for you. Okay, you need a big one, we'll make a medium size for you. That is what I like instead of treating all the students like the cookie cutter thing, you're going by what they individually need. Like, okay, your maths is weak, we need to get some maths for you, that kind of thing. And where is the best place people can find you online?
Uh, so best place our website. Go to Google, come to a YouTube channel, come to LinkedIn channel, Facebook. We have all the handles ready, and then we are updating all the data whenever we are coming with any plan. Like yesterday, we launched the free plan, which we just spoke about. That's going to be valid for next 1 month for 1,000 schools in India. So this is available for everybody, and the Google is, I think, best place to search anyone. You just search Schoolonovate, you'll find us.
Okay, so before we conclude, I ask 3 simple questions before we actually end the podcast. So this is called the perspective question. So this podcast is all about leading by action. So that's the name. Let's walk. So as you take your steps in life, you leave behind footsteps. And when you take the last step on this planet Earth, what do you want to be remembered for?
I want to see the smiles. I want to see people are smiling. Right? I want that people, if somebody says Schoolonovate or somebody says Sumit, they should smile from their face. That's going to be the biggest, I think, achievement for me.
Wow. Moving on to the second question, it is, if you were to start your entrepreneur journey all over again, what would you do differently?
I would, I think what I'm doing is Schoolonovate now, I could have done 20 years back. Right?
Do you think like it would be still like possible, if you would do back then, like people would be more receptive, or is it because of the pandemic people are like, no, there's no option, we have to do Schoolonovate?
Well, even you say last 20 years, there are close to 1,000 companies in India. Those actually sell their product ERP. But 90% of schools are not using that because human resources are required. So if I could have done this 15 years back, I think this would have been already been a huge success globally. Because when we went to college and we received requests from Southeast Asia, we received from Africa, we received even from US. Today I received an email from Canadian government. Would you like to start in Canada? Because it's cheap. Like for Canadian government, they said me that for every child they have to pay $20 per month for schools, whereas our product comes $8 per year. The use cost difference.
That's like, I think that is like they should really take advantage of this, and I think more than that, Indian government should take advantage of this, because end of the day, it's for our community, and if you're not lifting our community up, I don't know, like you mentioned, that's what we're doing this for, right? And the last question is, if you were to meet 3 people dead or alive, who would they be and why?
So I would like to meet Gandhiji. Seriously, I seriously feel that he known a father of nation. So I want to listen because he actually given lot of good things to us. Probably some good 90% good decision, 10% some of the bad decision like partition, which I don't agree with this, but it's happened. We can't do this. Second, I like Barack Obama a lot. I love his personality. I follow him throughout my journey, and I'm a good fan of Rishi Kapoor. So I missed last year when we lost him. So he's one of my best favorite actors. So if I get a chance, probably I would like to meet these 3 gentlemen.
Wow. So people listening and watching, this brings us to the end of the interview. I hope you guys took something out of this. If not, just go down and click the link so that you guys can get some like structured education and whatnot. Until then, you guys know what to do. Keep taking action. We'll see you in the next one.